Hi, my name's Maura Gamble. Today I wanted to talk about cucumbers. Cucumbers are a fantastic summer vegetable to have in your garden. I use them in salads all the time. We've just come back from being away for a few weeks, and a few of our cucumbers absolutely took over and got away from us. So I'm leaving these ones to go to seed. This one's ready to get some seeds out of, and I want to show you how to do that today. This one's going to stay for a bit longer. It's still green. A really important thing to remember when you're trying to save seeds from a cucumber is to let it go completely ripe on the vine. And then once this has gone brown, the stem here, you can take it off and then you can save the seeds from it. So that one's not quite ready yet. But I'm waiting until I take out this cucumber vine. Even though it's starting to look a bit old, there is a few young cucumbers about to come on here. So you can see here a new one just forming. Cucumbers have been grown in India for over 3,000 years, and then were grown by the Greeks and the Romans and eventually taken to many, many parts of the world. It's one of those vegetables that's been in many cultures in many parts of the world, and I absolutely love it. So I'm going to show you how to save the seeds. The important thing to think about saving the seeds too is that you have to have an open pollinated variety first. If you save seeds from a hybrid variety and you plant those back out again, you'll probably get a lot of good growth but not much fruit. Or if you do get it, it won't be of the quality you're looking for. So make sure you've got the open pollinated varieties, the heritage varieties first. So let's go. We'll take this one down and I'll show you how to do this, a couple of methods of how to save seeds. Saving seeds from cucumbers is a really easy thing to do. There's two methods that I wanted to show you today. There's the wet method and the dry method. All you need is a bowl of water to rinse out the seeds and then strain them onto some paper toweling. That's the dry method. And for the wet method, all you need to get started with is a jar of water. So I've taken a little section of our ripe cucumber here. And the first half I want to show you. So we just scoop in all the seeds, take all the pulp. Now once it's yellow like this, it's really no good to eat. It's bitter. You want to be eating the nice green small ones. So actually there's three different sorts of, there's many different varieties, but three types of cucumbers that you'll find most places. There's the pickling type, the little ones. There's the slicing ones, which are the nice long green ones that have kind of a thicker skin and smaller seeds. And then there's also the burpless ones, which you find which have quite a thin skin and also very small seeds or are sold as seedless. They're often the ones you'll find that are wrapped up in the plastic in the shop. So if you can grow them yourselves, you can avoid having all of that plastic waste as a result. And they're so much more delicious straight off the vine. So let's have a look at what we've got here. So some of these seeds here, so if you separate out, so you squish up all the pulp and take out that, the ones that sink to the bottom are the viable seeds, and the ones that float on the top are the ones that we need to scoop off. So I'll just do that, and then we'll save the ones at the bottom there. So I've sifted off the ones on the top that were floating, and I've just left with the sinkers. They're the ones that are viable seeds. Now the longer you leave your plant on the vine, the more viable seeds you're going to get. I'm not sure when this one fell off. It probably fell off in a bit of a storm during some of the winds. So there's a nice little collection of viable seeds. Now you can see that they have a bit of a gel sac around there. The wet method actually ferments that off. The drying method actually dries that off. So we'll put it here and spread it out. And we can either leave that in a nice airy location, not in direct sun, or we can place that in a dehydrator and actually dry them off that way and then store them or save them for next year or plant them out. One of the things you can do too is that seeds of cucumber are actually really edible. It's one of the most nutrient-dense parts of a cucumber. So, and we eat them all the time when we have seeded cucumbers. They're packed full of proteins and minerals and healthy fats. So if you can, eat all your seeds of your cucumbers. It's a really good thing. Same with watermelon too. The other method for drying your seeds and saving them, this method, the wet method, is actually the one that they use more often to save seeds that are going to be viable for a much longer period. If you do this, you can probably save these seeds for 10 years. It's a very thorough method of saving them. I tend to, with most of my seeds, they just come and go straight back into my garden the next year. I don't have a need to save them for 10 years, but if I was going to save them to share them around or to pass them on, I'd probably do something like this. So you do this with tomatoes as well. I'm just trying to get that into there without spreading them too far around. You squirt it into the jar. Again, the ones that are floating are not viable. The ones that sink are totally viable. We put all the pulp and everything in there, and then you just leave that in the kitchen somewhere for 5 days until all the gel sacs ferment off. Then you just do the washing and drying as we did before, but it's the fermentation process that happens over 5 days that's an important part of removing that gel sac. Now, what do I do with these bits that are left over? Well, you can feed them to the worms. They're a bit too bitter to eat fresh. You could possibly, slice them up into fine sections like this and pickle them and make pickled cucumber. I've just been making some pickled watermelon rind here, which I'm just going to ferment for a few days and then add in some extra flavours. So all of these things that we tend to throw away are actually really still very edible parts of our food. So I hope you enjoyed watching today. There's so many things, there's so many parts of your plants and so many foods that are available in your garden that quite often we overlook. And it's really important, I think, too, to be part of the whole seed-saving movement, to be able to help pass on the seeds and every year to be able to improve your own seeds, to be more adapted to your environment and to your climate and to your soils and to your water capacity. So get involved in seed saving. If you really, at the very beginning, start with things like lettuces and tomatoes. They're just fantastically easy. Cucumbers too. So thanks again for watching. My name's Maura Gamble. This is Our Permaculture Life. Don't forget to subscribe. Each week we'll be putting up fabulous movies about really practical things you can do to live more sustainably and simply at home and in your garden.